There we go. We're gonna start singing with a meditation on breathing, and I'm gonna invite you to sing the drone first. It's really easy, and I'm sure you know this better than I do, but as we sing, feel free to sing all the parts that you want. It's gonna be fun. Join me. Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. Keep going. Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in. We're going to sing the melody. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out. One more time. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. Last time. Breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. Nice singing. You should all join the choir.
Can you see? Yeah, you can see? I don't want to block your view of the piano.
For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. We are our grandfather's prayers, and we are our grandfather's dreamings. We are the breath of our ancestors. We are the spirit of God. We are mothers of courage and fathers of time. We are daughters of dust and the sons of great visions. We're sisters of mercy and brothers of love. We are lovers of life and the builders of nations. We're seekers of truth and keepers of faith. We are makers of peace and the wisdom of ages. We are grandmother's prayers, and we are our grandfather's dreamings. We are the breath of our ancestors. We are the spirit of God. For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are.
Good morning, and welcome to the Namakwa Unitarian Universalist Congregation. We are glad that you are here today. My name is Tam Paquette, and I am your worship associate today. Knock, knock, knock. Somebody's listening. This is a come as you are congregation, and you are welcome here, just as you are. And we want to extend a very special welcome to any of our visitors. So if you want to stay in contact with us, please sign up for our announcements in the back, and we promise we won't spam you. Here at Namakwa, We foster a beloved community that celebrates diversity, strives for peace and justice, and acts mindfully for the good of the planet. We inspire a spiritual growth through a free and loving search for truth and meaning. We honor the ground that we walk upon and acknowledge that this is the traditional land and ancestral home of the Arapaho, Ute, and Cheyenne nations and peoples. We recognize and we honor the indigenous peoples as stewards of this land and vow to reconcile the deep wounds that still shape our world today. Our announcements. So today at 11:15, we have city council candidates coming in. Last week was terrific. We had like an hour and a half forum with 2 of the candidates. So it's a meet and greet at 11:15. So as soon as the service is over, grab some coffee and snacky snacks and pop back over for those who live in Loveland. We have so much going on this week. So Monday, I'm gonna go really fast. Ready? Oh, if you flip over your order of service, it's all that stuff there, but for auditory learners, right? West African drumming classes and choir rehearsal with Dr. Jessie on Monday. Wednesday, the mindfulness group meets. I know most of you are in that, and there's also the lunchtime meditation. On Thursday, Reverend Dana is hosting a 90-minute class, and she's doing this all until November 13th each week. It's in person or on Zoom, and the topic is your theological journey. On Friday, the UUks are practicing, and the political policy discussion group meets in the evening. Next Sunday, we have an excellent program for you, Darkness and Light. We find ourselves living through dark and difficult times with no end in sight or relief. How do we negotiate these trying times that stir our fear and our anger and concern while still cultivating compassion? Come here, Dr. Jessie Fleshon with the choir and Slip as our accompanist. Did y'all say hi to Michael on the way in? Yay! Due to the current rhetoric against liberals, Namakwa has added another layer of safety with an armed uniformed security guard outside our building each Sunday for the next month. So if you have any questions about this or concerns, please talk to our Health and Welfare Ministry Chair, Tom Mitchell. Thank you for the work that you're doing to keep us all safe. Please, of course, join us in Parker Hall afterwards for coffee and cake and fun. And to all of those who made this service possible, all of our volunteers, big hearts and love.
My parents and I started to do a Bible study. If you know anything about my parents, they are very conservative Catholics. Women should cover their head in church. And so reading the Bible with them has been really interesting. And we started with Mark because they wanted to start with the Gospels. My mom was too worried about the Old Testament. There were too many scary things that happened there. It's okay, we can just skip that God and we'll jump to this one. And what I found is that Jesus doesn't really have very many emotions in Mark. I haven't read it since seminary. The only emotion he seems to have is a lot of rage. He's pretty angry in Mark. He's pretty upset with his disciples for not figuring it out, no matter how many times he tells them. He seems to have some compassion fatigue, is what he feels like. And if it's possible for the Savior of the world to have it, I'm sure we all might have it too. And that's what today is about. It's about thinking into compassion fatigue. What are all the things that we're holding, that we're carrying around, that we might not want to have, that might just show up in our laps? And what are some tools that we might use to start to deal with them? And what are some ways we might come together to think more generatively about them? And so I invite us to begin today by taking a big breath in and letting it go. This is a poem by Stuart Kestenbaum. Gather up whatever is glittering in the gutter, whatever has tumbled in the waves or fallen in flames out of the sky, for it's not only our hearts that are broken, but the heart of the world as well. Stitch it back together. Make a place where the day speaks to the night and the earth speaks to the sky. Whether we created God or God created us, it all comes down to this. In our imperfect world, we're meant to repair and stitch together what beauty there is. Stitch it with compassion and wire. See how everything we have made gathers a light into itself and overflows a blessing. Let's take one more big breath in here and let it go. Tam is going to do our chalice lighting.
Compassion fatigue. That sensation when you're just sick and tired of being kind and thoughtful and compassionate and intentional in our thoughts and deeds. It's a thing. What does one do when life is constantly chaos and it feels like we're always playing peacemaker, argument diffuser, being a witness to harm? Or when we're tired of being the long-suffering friend or family football? There are healthy ways to address compassion fatigue. As for me, sometimes I'll turn on my favorite music and sing along at the top of my lungs, pick up one of my instruments and disappear into the music, get out in the yard or garage, turn on a book on tape, and just spend time getting dirty or cleaning up. When it gets really tough, phoning a friend helps, or turning on an old movie, or dropping a DVD set and just binge The West Wing, or take a nap with my dog. When I feel anxious, there are many things I can do to reset my nervous system. The hard part is to actually do them and not stay caught up in the addictive angst that the struggle of doom-scrolling Facebook can bring on. We light this chalice to open ourselves up to options other than compassion fatigue. May this flame help us release fear and anxiety and center ourselves back on love.
I invite you to join me in our congregational affirmation. Love is the spirit of this congregation, and service its call. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. I invite you to reach out with arms of compassion, with a hug, a handshake, a high five, or just a pinky kiss to greet those around you. You can kick us off whenever you want.
I invite you to rise in body or spirit as you feel led. Guide my feet when I run this race. Guide my feet while I run this
If there are any kiddos that could see better coming up front, you're welcome to. There's seats in the front row or right here. This is a really lovely book called Death Wins a Goldfish. I thought it was appropriate for Halloween, but also for compassion fatigue. I'm only going to read about a quarter of this book. If you love it and you want to see the more adult version of the illustrations, buy a copy yourself. January. And here we see a Grim Reaper standing in a room with a lot of ticks on the wall. And there is an office full of Grim Reapers on their computers doing all sorts of paperwork. And here is one Grim Reaper reading a note from Human Resources, RE Vacation Days. It's come to our attention you've been a substantial number of unused days off. Records indicate you've never taken a sick day, sabbatical, or leave of absence. Though we appreciate your continued dedication to the firm, you must take advantage of your vacation beginning Friday. We wish you all the best during your time away, and we look forward to seeing you on your return. Sincerely, HR. And there is the Grim Reaper saying, a year off? I've never taken a day off. What am I going to do? Where am I going to go? Every trip I've ever taken's been for business. And there we see him on the back of a jet ski. There are 3 cupcakes. One says goodbye, one says good luck, one says go away. He says, nice send-off. I think the office was more excited than me. Must have been the champagne. And there he goes, leaving. Here he is in February. I'm not big on words. What is there to say, really? Come with me? No, you can't bring the dog. It's always the same things. But keeping a journal will help me collect my thoughts. One big pile of memories that I can jump into later. So here we go. And there he is, walking across the desert alone. Here he is on a ski lift with a man. He says, socializing's been tricky. I'm trying to develop my conversational voice. How far of a drop do you think it is? Here he is reading the obits in the newspaper. Checked in the office today, force of habit, numbers are down. But the new guy will come around. Seems to be doing just fine without me. Here he is at a carnival, surrounded by people who are really thrilled to be there. The carnival, he says. If you've never been, you must go. Crowds, games, rides, fried dough. It's nuts, like 1,000 sugary smiles covered in lights, all spinning and screaming at once. And there is a sign to play to win, a goldfish. There he throws the ball. It lands inside. I can't believe I won. I wanted to hug him, but instead I gave him some of my corn dog. Hey there, little buddy. And there he is feeding his very first goldfish. There they are taking pictures together in the photo booth, him and the goldfish. There he is holding the goldfish on top of a roller coaster. And they're on a tilt-a-whirl. He says, what a great day. There's Death having a pedicure done. He says, made a dating profile. I was trying to avoid it, but my neighbor Jane recommended I give it a go, and bam, instantly I got a match. 93% compatible. Hello, Mrs. Reaper. And here he is sitting across the table from someone at coffee, and he hands her a skull, but she runs away. Says, too soon. There he is lying down looking at a willow tree. He says, it's the wind that makes the trees talk. You just have to be listening. Here he is with snow globes. I've been collecting snow globes, magical little memories, but I doubt the people making them think so. Here he is at Starbucks. He gets his drink. It says, Beth. Here he is at the beach, spent the day at the beach just thinking. Walks and talks with the fish on the beach. There they are together. Here he is in August riding on the back of a motorcycle. Here he is with some Amish farmers. Met John and Samuel, great guys. We exchanged some tips on tools and our respective techniques. I left impressed. There they are comparing sides together. Here he is with a shark. Ran into an old colleague. Feeling reflective tonight, it occurred to me that fewer vacation days in front of me than behind. Maybe I should try and fill the remaining time with more meaningful things. What have I learned? And more importantly, how have I grown? And there he is, looking out the window. Here he is in September at a college football game. Here he is at the end of September, dropped out. I could handle the work, but my liver couldn't survive the living. Here he is in October, giving a piece of candy to a young Grim Reaper, a little kid dressed up just like him. Here he is in October in the middle of a redwood. Saw the redwoods, even bigger than I thought. One of the trees had a great big hole right in the middle of it. The guide said it was dying slowly. So when everyone passed, I stepped inside. All the sound went away. I felt small and warm. It wasn't dying at all. It was just living slowly. He's discovered painting. There he is. Here's one of the paintings, Jackson Pollock. Here's another really wild one that he calls Shaky Dalmatian. Here he is with a Tyrannosaurus Rex, and he says, "Remember me?" December, there he is with his tongue out catching snowflakes. He's holding his skull again. He says, "Sometimes I can get lonely during the holidays." And then he gives the skull to his goldfish. But giving gifts makes that all go away. I'm a little bit nervous about returning to work after all this time off. I had a dream last night I was back in the office and didn't know how to do my job. And there he is, standing in front of the building. He says, "Back to work, nervous and excited to see everyone at the office. Maybe time off has changed me. Maybe it'll change how others see me too. Maybe I just look tan and well-rested. I feel different though. Grown isn't the right word. It's more on the inside, like I swallowed something glowy and good. Whatever it is, I'm guessing it'll take time to process. I'm glad I kept a journal and made a few friends along the way." And here he is showing off his goldfish to all the other Grim Reapers in the office. My whole life up to this point has been about other people mostly leaving. What can I say? It's my job. It's who I am. But if there's one big thing I've learned this past year, it's that quality time with others is important and that smiles count. I've learned to take people in rather than take them out. Anyway, time is short and all that, so I'm going to get to it, living. And that's the end. So I invite us to stand and sing our kiddos out to RE this morning.
Now let us sing to the power of the faith within. Sing to the power of the faith within. Lift up your voice, be afraid. Sing to the power of the love within.
Great job.
Each week, you support the work of this congregation and all the many ways that we live our values in the world through your own generosity. In addition to supporting this church, part of your donations support a local nonprofit organization. Don't say that 10 times in a row. Helping us to make a difference beyond our walls. During the next 2 months of September and October, we are giving to Habitat for Humanity as part of our shared values. Their mission is to put God's love into action, bringing people together to build homes, communities, and hope. Habitat for Humanity is a movement of people in your local area and around the world working together to build a more prosperous, more vibrant communities by making sure that everyone has a decent, safe, and affordable place to call home. Oh yeah, I forgot. I'm on, okay. Oh boy. I swear they're gonna fire me. I'm sorry. It's okay, I don't mind hecklers. Get it all the time. So, Claire came up with this. I did not. It's amazing, and you'll know why. This is called Shipwrecked by T.J. Green. T.J. is a poet who is incarcerated, and this piece is featured in this month's Poetry Monthly Zine created by PEN America. A flagging sun listing atop a sea of clouds on fire, a scene I'm seeing through chain link and razor wire. Someone sailing by on Route 34 blasts their horn. Is it jibe or a cry of encouragement they sound for us? Running the grounds, shipwrecked souls try to make the most of our tiding time outside. Yard shoes scuttling, concrete gall quickly and heavily, weights are lifted in spite. A sparrow sings her sirens talking, a sparrow sings her siren taking flight. The flagging sun sinks into a silhouette of seaweed and silver fences, into an eventless horizon, and is lost.
I've been walking across prison yards with flagging sunsets for the last 14 years. When the light fades and the horizon blends with the tall, dark walls, prisons and all the people inside them seem to disappear, which is what they're designed to do. Disappearing people and pain is a cruelly common trick of the American imagination. It's one we choose over and over again because making hard things disappear is so much easier than breathing into them so we can heal. Reggie was in his mid-40s and had been incarcerated for over a decade. He's short and he had long hair and he was very energetic and curious and deeply present. I cast him in a film I was working on in a Colorado prison. We worked together every week for over a year. I made the long trip down to Canyon City from Denver, and he journeyed across the yard to the education building. We'd meet surrounded by chain link and razor wire and other people who wanted to be part of something bigger than themselves. There was a long list of people who wanted to be part of this film, so we had attendance requirements to keep us accountable, and Reggie never missed a class, until he did. The other guys told me that they'd seen him with a black eye. He'd gotten a real shiner. Reggie said a weight had fallen onto his face while he was working out in the yard. Somehow the edge of a 25-pound disc landed squarely in his left eye socket. And when Reggie came back to class the next week, he insisted that it was true. There are many wounds in prison, but only some are visible. But those that leave physical marks have to be accounted for by the system. An officer gave Reggie a write-up and set a date for a disciplinary hearing. That could have meant time was added to a sentence, or privileges that we would see as basic human needs are taken away. Surely, they argued, that he had been in a fight with another resident. Even if he was the one sporting a bruise, he was to blame. The hearing came quickly, and Reggie disappeared from my class. The guys told me he'd been sent to solitary, punishment for fighting in prison against an unknown adversary. They also told me that Reggie had lied about the weightlifting incident because his cellmate had punched Reggie after he found drugs in their cell. His cellmate was the leader of a drug ring in the facility. The people who control the flow of drugs into a prison are the most powerful people. They can make things happen and they can make hurt happen. And the system doesn't care whose drugs might be found in a cell. If you live there, you are liable. On the way out that night, I asked a friendly officer to walk me to the solitary confinement unit. At this point, I'd been going inside for over a decade, but this was the first time I'd ever gone to solitary. On the walk over, the first thing that came to mind was I wish I could have brought something. What do you bring to someone in solitary? The longing to bring something more than just me is just part of who I am. Even when I don't have anything to give, I keep going, trying to find it. I've been going inside several days a week, forgetting to take care of myself along the way. The secondary trauma of working in prison is duplicitous. I was going to do the work that was surely mine to do, and no matter how well I tried to let it go, when I walked through the gate each night, more and more hurt clung to my heart. I remember walking across the yard empty-handed as the sun set on the weight pile. Reggie had disappeared and I was going to find him. But I didn't realize I was also going to find myself. The officer led me to one of the oldest standing buildings in the facility. Solitary was on the first floor at the base of a ramp. It used to be death row. The ramp snaked up 2 more floors, not for wheelchairs, but for gurneys. The 3rd floor has Colorado's death chamber for most of its history. I remember my heartbeat building as I stepped into the windowless hallway. There was a large cage on my left and a flickering fluorescent light that just wanted to give up. On my right, there's a line of cells with cream-colored bars, as if the latte tone would soften the cruelty. Covering each cell was thick plexiglass that had been scratched and smudged, obscuring the people inside. And in the center cell sat Reggie. He was sitting on his bunk, his head turned as he heard the jangling of the officer's keys. We walked toward each other in silence. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to say. I didn't have anything to offer, so I just opened my hands and pressed them against the plexiglass. And Reggie mirrored me on the other side. I remember just leaning my forehead against the plexi, closing my eyes, and breathing. Breathing in Reggie's pain and isolation. Breathing out hope for connection and healing. And when I opened my eyes, I saw Reggie's that were filled with tears. I pulled my face back and wiped my own tears away and whispered the only thing I could think of, "You are loved." I can still see Reggie through the smudge of my forehead on the glass, reappearing in a reality that we created together. He whispered back, "I love you." And I could see the pain in his eyes. The cruelty of the system had overwhelmed us both. And then I was told, it's time to go. I'd only begun to take care of Reggie, he'd only begun to take care of me, and the clang of the metal bars and gates sent me out into the night. I felt lost. I felt like there was more to be done, and there was nothing to be done. I felt like showing up wasn't enough, and it was all I had until now. There's a common refrain these days about helping people who are hurting. It goes like this: just show up, just make the call, just visit, just sit. And in this version of showing up, we come alongside someone and remind them that they're not alone. And then we go on our way. We can't fix everyone. We have to take care of ourselves too. I've done that more times than I can remember. But I found over the years it might be enough in the moment, but it's often not enough for me. I wonder if you've ever felt like that too. There are certain people, certain moments that find me in life and say, look, this one's yours. It's yours. And at the same time, the parts of me that wish for ease and pleasure and a long night of binge-watching Chimp Crazy or The West Wing are telling me to keep walking. You've done enough. But sometimes moments like Reggie's hit me in my gut and remind me what a gift it is to live. As Andrea Gibson said, with a heart covered in stretch marks. But just because I feel that mine is something to help heal, it doesn't mean it can be done. I wanted to get Reggie out of that lonely cell so bad. I wanted to tell him the truth for the system and for the system to recognize the power of being honest. I wanted to stay with him until he could go back to his own cell at least, but what I wanted didn't matter. I had no power and I was exhausted thinking about it. The only thing I had was this deep feeling of what was mine to do and a few brief moments in a lonely hallway. It was out of necessity that I find myself just breathing with Reggie. My prayer to hold his pain and heal his hurt just rose deep inside me. It was the only thing I could do to stitch together what beauty there is with my breath. And on the long ride to Denver that night, I found myself recalling a tool I had taught in a different prison class years earlier. I'd forgotten about this breathing practice until it just came up in me that night. The Buddhist nun and teacher Pema Chodron writes about a tool that it gives us more to do when we feel like we have nothing left to give. Tonglen practice, she writes, is known as taking and sending. It reverses our usual logic of avoiding suffering and seeking pleasure. In Tonglen practice, we visualize taking in the pain of others with each in-breath and sending out whatever will benefit them with our out-breath. In the process, we become liberated from age-old patterns of selfishness, she writes. We begin to feel love for both ourselves and others. We begin to take care of ourselves and others. With every breath, we have the opportunity to make the pain visible, to bring our awareness back to those that have been disappeared, and not to stay in that hurt, not to stare into the darkness, but to hold that burden for a moment so that we might be more connected with our own pain and our own healing. And then we have an opportunity to make joy visible. Joy, as the poet Ross Gay writes, isn't about happiness. It's about the underground union between us. Joy in Tonglen is the magic of healing that happens when we come alongside each other to share equally in the suffering and in the hope. When we breathe together, we make each other visible. And more than that, we hold each other in love. In our imperfect world, we're meant to repair and stitch together what beauty there is, stitch it with compassion and wire. The sun had set many hours before I left a pride party in Denver a few months ago. I've been dancing with friends for hours and I was worn out, my eyes were heavy, it was time for bed. As I stepped into a dark parking lot, I saw a young man sitting alone on a curb, almost invisible in the pitch black. He looked up at me with tears in his eyes and stumbled over his words as he asked me to try to help him unlock his cell phone. His fingers fumbled as he dropped the phone too high to even call an Uber. I sat down next to him and I asked if he had anyone at the party to take care of him. No, he said, they'd all left. Until now. When we finally opened his phone, he showed me a string of cruel texts from his ex. Gays are so mean, he said, with a sigh that felt like his first realization. As I took a breath in, his pain stretched my heart. And as I let go, I asked if I could help him get a ride home. He started to cry, and I reflexively put up my hands to give him a hug. I expected him to fall into my arms, but instead he pressed his hands against mine. And our foreheads just rested on each other. And I was transported from one man's solitary to another's. You are loved. These two stories hold a couple of moments when I was able to breathe in pain and breathe out hope. A couple of moments for when breath is all that I had, for these men and for myself. I doubt this will always work, and I doubt that it'll work for everyone. Sometimes we're lucky enough to get a note from HR that forces us to take care of ourselves. Sometimes we get to explore the world and learn what it means to live. But other times, it's just us, locked in this prison together, making each other's emptiness visible. When the moments come, and they will come in big and small ways, I hope that you find a way to take the suffering out of the dark. I hope that you bring it to the light so we might lean on each other. No matter how worn out we are, our healing happens together. May it be so. I'm going to invite us into a meditation now. And so I invite you to be comfortable in your body, however that feels, and to just let yourself be at rest for a moment. And if it feels good to close your eyes, I invite you to do that, or just to look down. Or if it feels good to look at something in the distance, let's begin by taking a big breath in and letting it go. And another breath even deeper, all the way into your belly. Take that breath in and let it go. And in your mind's eye, I invite you to think of someone from this week in your life who needs some compassion today. And I only invite you to take in what you feel comfortable with this morning. We don't have to change the world, we don't have to fix everything, but who is one person? Maybe you saw them on TV, maybe you had lunch with them, maybe they're a family member, maybe it's yourself. And on this next breath, I invite you to breathe in that pain that they're feeling, that you're feeling together. Take that big breath in. And as you let it go, I just ask you to pray for peace for them. Breathe out peace for that person. And again, with the same person, take that big breath in, breathing in the discomfort, holding it for them, and letting it go, hoping only for compassion. And let's do it one more time. Take that breath even deeper, all the way down to your toes this time. And when you're ready, breathing out hope. And if it feels good, I invite you to put your hands up as if you were going to hold their hands in front of you, wrapping your fingers around theirs, letting your forehead rest on theirs, being together, healing together. And I just invite you to whisper to them, you are loved. And when you're ready, we'll start to let their fingers go. And I invite you to take your arms around yourself, to give yourself a big hug in this moment, giving yourself a real squeeze, and saying once again to yourself, you are loved. And if you want to keep holding yourself, great, or if you want to let your arms go down, great. If it feels good to just be still with your eyes closed, that's a beautiful place to stay as we step into this next song together.
Where you go, I will go.
When Jane Goodall died a few weeks ago, I saw this picture of her as a young child, clinging to a stuffed monkey doll her father had brought home. I imagine her playing with the doll years before she would become Dr. Jane Goodall. I could see her putting little tools and toys in its hands, playing, pretending the monkey could use them. Only years later, to find out that chimps use a variety of tools. Tools pointed Jane Goodall toward a deeper understanding that changed how we think about primates, how we think about ourselves. Using tools is one of the highest signs of intelligence in the animal kingdom. I've been thinking a lot about the tools we need to get through this world. Some work for some and others for others. But when it comes to taking care of ourselves, the simplest tools are often the best medicine. Singing, getting dirty, cleaning up, binge watching, winning a goldfish, dog cuddling, living slowly in a redwood, or just breathing. Those tools are sacred, and they remind us that we can only go so far on our own. They refill us and point us toward the source of compassion, the great ocean of love that makes life livable, that never runs dry. A place where the day speaks to the night and the earth speaks to the sky. Go with me to the shores of compassion. Whether the tides are high or low, no matter how tired we are, beloved, we can lay on the beach knowing, like our breath, the waves will return again and again and again, washing us in love, washing us in hope, washing us in peace, washing us in joy, bringing us into the light together.
There is more love somewhere. There is more love somewhere. I'm gonna keep on till I find it. There is more love somewhere. There is more hope somewhere. There is more hope somewhere. I'm gonna keep on till I find it. There is more hope somewhere. There is more peace. There is more peace somewhere. There is more peace somewhere. I'm gonna keep on till I find it. There is more peace somewhere. There is more joy. There is more joy somewhere. There is more joy somewhere. I'm gonna keep on till I find it. There is more joy somewhere.
The poet David White writes, "Enough. These few words are enough. If not these words, this breath. If not this breath, this sitting here. This opening to life we refused again and again until now. Until now. Let's take one more big breath in and let it go. And if it feels good in this moment to reach out and give your neighbor a little squeeze, give them a little squeeze. And just give them a look and say, it's good to see you today. It's good to see you today. One more squeeze. Have a beautiful week.